Hey there, beautiful souls. Today, we want to kick things off with a powerful quote that resonates really deeply with me. And that is, the stories we tell literally make the world. So if you want to change the world, you need to change your story. This quote actually brings to mind a recent interview where Andre 3000 talks about reclaiming his narrative.
Responding and trying to figure out the best way to display and give value to wherever I am right now. You have to enjoy what you're doing. And I wouldn't want to be in a place where I'm doing it on some, just because I'm trying to meet an expectation. Maybe I exhausted a thing, and sometimes you have to kind of try something else.
So last year in November, Andre 3000 dropped his first album in 17 years. And if you're wondering why this is such a big deal, let me give you some background on Andre. 3000 is also his name. He's a famous rap musician.
Just in case you've been living under a rock.
If you've been living under a rock, I tell you. But he was born Andre Lauren Benjamin on May 27th, 1975.
As a Gemini.
He was raised right here in our home city, Atlanta, Georgia. Right there on the east side, show it. He's best known for being a part of the Southern hip-hop duo Outkast, along fellow rapper Big Boy. And Outkast helped transform the pop culture landscape with popular songs such as AI, So Fresh, So Clean, The Way You Move, AT-Aliens, Roses, Players Balls. I can keep going on. And I'm sure you can name a few more just off of Humbug.
And I'm sure you can. In addition, though, to every Outkast album going platinum, they also earned 6 Grammys, 4 BET Awards, 9 Europe MTV Awards, 5 American Music Awards, Soul Train Awards, and a plethora of others.
Right. And Andre 3000 has also acted in films and television series such as Idlewild.
The Shield, my favorite.
Pump the brake. The Shield.
Yeah.
You mean that show with that big bald-headed white guy who's always playing a tough guy? I think his name is something like Michael.
Yeah, that guy. But not. No, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me clarify. Not the guy that plays on the gemstones, the pigeon-toed white dude that plays on the gemstones.
You talking about Uncle Baby Billy?
Right, not Uncle Baby Billy.
Uncle Baby Billy was on the Shield also?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
So now we have our white, just so you have your white dude straight.
Okay, now we got him straight.
Yeah, we got him straight. But Andre 3000 was actually on the Shield, and he appeared in a few episodes on season 3.
Right.
And I think season 7.
Okay.
And his character was a comic book store owner.
Okay.
And he ended up running for mayor.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he's got a lot of different styles on TV and on movies, just like he does on the radio.
Yeah, true.
Diverse.
Yeah.
Now, he was also in Be Cool.
Okay, I don't know that movie, but
that was with John Travolta.
Okay,
that was a good one.
I definitely never would have pegged John Travolta and Andre 3000 in a movie together, but I'll put on my list to watch.
Yeah. It was a good one.
Okay.
He was in Revolver, Semi-Pro, Highlight, Four Brothers, American Crime, Dispatches from Elsewhere, and in the lead role of Jimi Hendrix in Jimmy, All Is By My Side.
Yeah, I saw that movie.
And he's also known for his Cartoon Network animated series Class of 3000, which aired from 2006 to 2008.
Okay.
Additionally, he is a big advocate for animal rights. And in the spring of 2008, he launched a clothing line called Benjamin Bixby.
Wow, he's a busy man.
He's a very busy man.
Yeah, and by the way, our kids loved Class of 3000. And it came out like in the mid-2000s, so they were little.
Yeah.
And I could never find it on DVD.
Been trying to find that DVD everywhere. Can't find it.
Yeah, but I believe it was only distributed in Europe at that time. So if anybody knows where I can find a DVD, let me know. So as Hass mentioned, Andre 3000 released his debut solo album last year titled New Blue Sun. And that might seem like a real deviation from, what he was doing. But, all along, he had been actually performing with the flute in public, and he had made several media appearances playing the flute in public, And more importantly, he was actually a flutist on the score for the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what else? He was also he also played on the Boondocks entry song.
So when you say you mean the flute?
The you know that song on the beginning of Boondocks.
But isn't
that's him?
Isn't the Boondocks like an older show?
It's a cartoon.
Yeah, but it came out before this album came out, right?
Yeah, it did. It did.
And he was playing the flute already.
And he was playing the flute on that.
Oh.
I didn't know that. I was like, wow, blow my mind.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know? But yeah, that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, an awesome film.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I mean, and if you have been under a rock, you know, and haven't seen this film starring Michelle Yeoh, Stephanie Sue, K.Y. Kwan, you know, who played the inventor kid in the Goonies, you know, when I saw him, I was like, I know who that is. That's the kid from the Goonies.
So he looks the same way as an
He
adult.
looks the same way as an adult. I'm like, where this dude been at? You know,
it's like Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
He still looks like
you can't miss him. You know, I'm glad that he got a chance to get on this show. But it also had James Hong. You know, you saw James Hong on all of the famous American Asian movies. Such as the one that comes to mind with Kurt Russell.
Okay.
With something about something going on under China. And then that was awesome. Check it out. Okay.
Something going on under China.
It was something like that.
Is that what you just said? Wait, you said it was an American-Chinese film.
It was
but it was shot in China.
It was not shot in China.
So how can it be named?
It was under Chinatown.
Well, how can it be named something going on under
Something
China?
was happening under Chinatown. I mean,
Chinatown.
I bet if you Google it, it'll come up and show you that very thing.
Okay.
But Jamie Lee Curtis was also in this movie, right? So if you find time and haven't yet, go and check it out. It'll change your perspective this movie.
Yeah. It was a great film. And it's one of those ones that you want to rewatch all the time. In fact, I might rewatch it tonight. But anyway. But I digress. But so back to Andre 3000's album, New Blue Sun. The album features 8 instrumental flute tracks, as we know. And I want you to help me with these names here, Haas.
Well, number 1 is I Swear. I really wanted to make a rap album, but this is literally the way the wind blew me this time. Okay. I knew you was going to leave out the this time part, so I wanted to say that for you.
Okay, so the second one, which I'm going to try to remember the whole title, is the slang word. Of course, Haas would make me say this one, but the slang word for P rolls off the tongue with far better ease than the proper word for JJ. Do you agree? Did I get it right?
Yes, I did.
I mean, no, I have to get it right.
And number 3, that night in Hawaii when I turned into a panther and started making these low register purring tones that I couldn't control. Shite was wild! Shite was wild!
Wait, that wasn't quite a purr, was it?
You gotta say it just, you know, I mean, on the back end of the purr, you gotta sound like, you know, a wild Scottish dude. You know, shite was wild!
Like a wild Scottish dude?
Yeah.
Why? That sounds more British than Scottish.
Did it?
I think so.
Well, aren't they all a part of the United Kingdom?
Shiest. Yeah, they are, but, you know, they all have different accents. Just like, you know, even in the United States, people have different accents.
That's got to be Scottish. That I can literally see... your boy who was the best 007, Sean Connery. Shite was wild, you know, which is... No, that's not. That's German.
Wait.
Damn it, man.
Right. See?
But there we go.
And we digress. We are
again.
so sorry. So the next title track on this item is Bipolar Disorder's daughter wears a 3,000 button down embroidered.
Sounds like he's promoting his own clothing line.
Right. And then the next one is
93 till infinity and Beyonce.
Okay. And then
93 till infinity and Beyonce is like beyond. It's a play on words. I bet y'all didn't catch that.
I don't get it.
And beyond, like Beyonce, beyond.
Okay.
Using
I thought when I hear Beyonce, I can only think of
B.
I can only think of "Drunken Love" as she danced across the stage.
Well, that is a great sight, isn't it?
I guess. Sure. Sure. It's probably a better sight for you than for me, but sure, I can appreciate beauty. Sure. But anyway, the next one is Gandhi, Dalai Lama, Your Lord and Savior, JC, Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, and John Wayne Gacy.
Well, it does rhyme.
Did I get it right?
You did get it right.
Okay.
And the interesting thing about that is how it's a contradiction, or not a contradiction, but a juxtaposition.
Yeah, because it's talking about all the nice people, the Dalai Lama.
Yeah. And
I'm assuming JC stands for Jesus Christ, but JC could stand for something else.
It says your Lord and Savior before that.
JC, it does, but,
yeah.
I'm just giving it there. But I do think that's interesting how he kind of pairs that with Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy.
It's almost like contradictions or something like that.
With Bundy.
Yeah. It's almost like as above, so below.
Yeah, like he just finished rereading Dante's Inferno or something.
Or something like that.
Yeah, and he was, kind of... But anyway, number 7 is Ants to You, Gods to Who. Right? And then number 8 is Dreams Once Buried Beneath the Dungeon Floor Slowly Sprout into Undying Gardens. And that actually speaks to what we're talking about today.
I mean, it's deep. I mean, the titles alone are like poetry out of a genius's head.
Yeah.
You're about to enter into another kind of realm or space. So this leads me to the October 2023 GQ interview with Andre 3000, where he discussed his reasons behind creating such an album that is such a deviation from his usual body of work. Yeah.
I mean, before we kind of get a little more deeper into the interview, I just wanted to say that I felt a little insulted right off the pack of the interview on behalf of Andre 3000, because the interviewer was, made this analogy that, because he was kind of hinting around like why you're not making raps or rhymes anymore. And he basically said that, your talent is like having a sports car parked in the garage that you never drive. And I felt like he was kind of insulting 3000. Can I call him that? 3000?
Yep, that's what people call him.
Okay. That he was kind of insulting 3000 because... why are you saying that this is not talent just because he made a flute, because he's playing the flute? That is talent. Because, excuse me, Mr. GQ interviewer, can you play a flute? Can you play the flute? And maybe he can play the flute. Maybe he played the flute in band when he was in 6th grade band.
Right,
but
not impressed.
But it's not. But you don't have an album. You're not. You're not getting.
I felt the interview was saying. I felt the interview was saying 3000's. Rapping skills are revered as one of the greats of all time, like a Ferrari Testarossa or a Lamborghini Countach.
Wait, what did you say? Did you say
a Ferrari Testarossa?
Oh, I thought you said Omarosa. Like Omarosa from the Trump show.
From the Trump show. Dare you bring up Trump in the middle of a great like Andre 3000? You're fired. How about that?
Yeah, okay, I'm fired. But can you hire me back? But you hire me back.
You're rehired.
Rehired. Okay, great.
You're rehired.
Okay. I mean, I just misheard. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's like his music was like these great vehicles parked in a car collector's garage, only for that collector to admire. And what I felt like he was comparing it to was, 3000's unwritten raps, or his talent is like, his talent to create popular music would be hidden from the world, no longer available for the public to consume.
People think, oh man, he's just sitting on raps, or like he's just holding these raps hostage. Like, I ain't got no raps like that.
But 3000 is apparently experiencing a real internal struggle in this regard. And it's quite interesting, actually. I mean, he said him and Big Boy prayed to have great rapping skills. In
this life, you want what you want till you don't want it. Me and Big Boy used to literally pray every night. Lord, really, we just want to be good rappers. That was our prayer. It was called like a rapper's prayer. Like, Lord, we really just want to be good rappers. And we did that. And it's kind of like, now we're seeing that it's happened. I love that it's happened. Like, I don't regret any of that. But it's kind of like now, that I'm at a certain level, I miss certain things about normalcy.
It seems like they received the blessings, you know?
Yeah, they did.
Of that prayer.
But
But 3,000 seems to be on a spiritual journey that rejects the adoration and fame that comes with being one of the greatest of all times. You know, I mean, it seems...
I wouldn't say that he's rejecting... I don't think he's necessarily rejecting anything. I think he's just figuring out how it aligns with the spirit of himself as a man. Because at the end of the day, he is this prolific artist. He is famous. But inside of that packaging is a being, is a person, and a soul. And I think that we have to come to realize at some point in our lives that what we wanted might not necessarily be what we really wanted. Or what was going to give us our journey as a human.
Some like the fame and, some don't. But, it seems like his struggle with using his rapping skills is that it will bring him fame again, and, that'll interrupt the simpleness of his life.
People don't want to say it. It is a great blessing. I'm actually blessed to be able to create in front of people and get ideas off. That's the biggest blessing out of being famous. But being famous really sucks, man. It's so unhuman.
Kind of likes the simpleness of life, Mm-hmm. And on one hand, he likes having the platform to inspire people, inspire the world. And, as in his words, he says he wanted to leave a lineage.
New generations come, generations after you come, even musically, even looking at the landscape of music now, I'm so happy and blessed that I'm still alive to be able to see a lineage, to see it. And I think lineage is important in any art form, in anything, because I think you do a disservice if you don't tell people where things came from. When I'm making music, I always feel I wonder what George and them would think. Or I wonder if Jimmy was here, what would he think? Or I wonder what would Prince think. You're only as good as the people before you.
Yeah.
It's just true, because those are your building blocks. And I don't care who you are, and it will always be that way. And it will just keep going. And it's gratifying to know that your life has had meaning for someone.
And there's been a ton of A-list awesome young rappers who have done just this thing. They've followed in his footsteps, pushing the boundaries of music and defying stereotypes.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, he loves his normalcy more,
Well, yeah, I think that like I was saying earlier, that when you get to that point where let me back up. Actually, when you think about it, he's in a place that most of us only dream of being.
Sure.
Being able to have that kind of freedom and not just the finances, but also that access that he can have to anything, because he is talented, and people revere that, about him. But he also talks about in the interview how that was an unnatural thing for a man to have, because it doesn't really help you to better your soul.
But there was this classical pianist that said it's actually unnatural and actually detrimental to a human to have that much admiration, because it actually changes the way you think. It changes the way you move.
A lot of times, not just people on his level, but even people just in our lives. Once you have accomplished certain things, you raised your kids, you bought the house, you got this, you got that, and then you kind of get to that point where you have this, you start thinking about life in an existential way. What does this really mean?
It sounds like to me that he's been very introspective and has wrestled with these complex emotions and has arrived at a spiritual insight which appears to have released him from external pressures to align with popular notions. Mm-hmm. It seems like that's been his secret sauce of creating all along.
Sure.
He follows what feels right to him.
Right.
How his soul resonates, or in his poetic way of saying things, how he experiences the wind blowing on his being. It's simple and complex all at the same time.
True. That's very true. Mm-hmm. I think it's also important to clarify that it's not just that he's having an internal struggle, but it's that he's discovering his own narrative. Because it's not that he's rejecting his fame, but he's more like he's figuring it out, to figure out what now aligns with his life. Because, you know, a part of the interview, he does talk about, you know, well, what am I going to rap about?
It actually feels, sometimes it feels inauthentic for me to rap because I don't have anything to talk about in that way. Like, I'm 48 years old, and not to say that age is a thing that dictates what you rap about, but in a way it does. And like, the things that happen in my life, like, what do you talk, like, I gotta go get a colonoscopy, like, what do you what do you rap about? You know what I mean? Like, my eyesight is going bad, like,
you know. And I think that that's the thing, that people have to give people that grace to be able to change and grow, because what served us a year ago or 5 years ago or 20 years ago doesn't necessarily serve us today. And that's part of the human journey, is that we continue to grow and to thrive and to be able to change. And along that line, I think that Andre 3000 is just saying that, you know, that he's at this point in his life where talent is one thing, but timing is more important.
Talent is one thing, but honestly, I think timing and momentum is more important than talent and the energy of it. Like, talent, it's a lot of people with talent. And we're seeing that now. Like, there's so many dope people on the internet, like, that are just raw, but it's your timing, is what you're talking about, is if you're catching the zeitgeist of what's happening in the world.
You know, this kind of brings to mind for me the Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Outliers, because where he points out, you know, that success is not just about talent or being the best, but there are all these other factors that go into timing, such as opportunity. And so when Andre 3000 is asked in the interview, you know, why a Woodwind album, he responds by saying it just felt more real and authentic, and that and he talked about how he doesn't stop trying new things just because he's Andre 3000, you know. And then he goes on to say something that I found very beautiful, where he said that if something feels right, then he doesn't argue with that feeling, and it doesn't matter what other people think.
And I only work on feeling. Feeling is my only barometer of what I'm doing. Like, I don't feel like I'm the best rapper. I don't feel like I'm the best producer. I don't feel like I'm the best singer, actor, none of that. It's just, for me, my gauge is feeling. And that's always been that way, even within Outkast. Like, if it felt right, I ain't care what other people thought. If it felt right, it was like, I ain't gonna argue with what it feel like. And if it don't feel right to me, I don't do it.
That's a beautiful place to be in your life.
Absolutely.
You know, and that also kind of reminds me when, you know, because part of the interview he talks about how his friend told him, you know, brother, if you release Hey Ya, your career is over. Your career is gonna be over.
Yeah.
But, you know, he was moved by the Spirit to, you know, the Spirit within him to release that, and it ended up being, you know, probably one of their best songs, I would say. I mean,
absolutely,
you know, and then, you know, then of course Andre 3000 goes on to, you know, talk about why writing raps just for the sake of writing raps kind of made him feel inauthentic, because he's just doing it because, you know, it's what everybody expects. But, you know, at this juncture in his life, he feels his narrative needs to align with something else.
My goal is I want to connect. I'm not talking about nothing that I can't connect with. It's no use.
Sure. I mean, people who think alike can often be their own worst critics, and I know this because I think a lot, and I'm my own worst critic. But I think he's worried about living up to the hype he has created for himself, and I get it. He's raised the bar so high by making his music be something that can't be put in a box.
Yeah, that's true.
And he wants to continue with that, understandably. But like Prince, like Michael Jackson, like Pharoah Sanders, like John Coltrane, who brought their different interpretations of the world as the ages changed, 3000 has this same gift, which interprets the universe's cosmic interference. You see what I did right there, baby?
Yeah.
Our daughter's underground visual arts collective is called Cosmic Interference. Shameless plug. Check her out.
From Daddy.
But I digress. 3000 said he stopped smoking and drinking so he could get the signal clear. He's trusting the signal and giving us what he's receiving from the universe with this New Blue Sun album. But I ain't gonna lie, I love to hear some bars.
Well, I love that. I think that's a beautiful thing when he says that, you know, he's receiving the signal, you know, straight from the source, whatever you perceive the source to be. And he's putting that back out into the world. So you're getting something that's pure. And I love that he's reached this point in his life where he can be true to himself and deny the pressures of assimilation and be able to create unique and original rhythms and sounds, and do it unapologetically for the most part. I mean, he's the writer of his own story at this point.
Well, once we get to a certain level of success, we tend to have so many people offering opinions of how you should move. Mm-hmm. And, actually, people tend to be in your ear no matter what level of success you exist.
True.
But often, external influences like society, media, or even your own self-doubt can start to dictate the narratives of our lives, leaving us feeling like we've lost touch with our true selves.
Yeah.
It takes time. It takes time to take back that control and rewrite our stories in our own terms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry. It is that time. It is that time. So get on about it. When we reclaim our narrative, we unlock our world of possibilities for our mental health, relationships, and overall well-being, right?
Yeah.
And by owning our stories and being the authors of our lives, we gain a sense of empowerment and agency that can transform how we show up in the world. It's a journey of self-discovery and self-empowerment that leads to a more fulfilling and authentic life.
Absolutely. In conclusion, taking control of your story is a powerful act of self-love. And as Hassan said, empowerment. And just as Andre 3000 decided to create based on his own inner desires, choosing authenticity over popularity allows you to live and embrace your true essence and create a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. Remember that you are the author of your own story. So make it a masterpiece filled with courage, vulnerability, and your authentic self. I encourage you to reflect on your own narrative and share your experience with narrative control in the comments below. And let's start a conversation and support each other on this journey of self-discovery. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more inspiring content on personal growth and empowerment. So in the end, I just want to leave you with this thought that Andre 3000's New Blue Sun is not just a gift of music, but it's also a gift of self-examination. It's a catalyst to free yourself from the expectations of others and an invitation to let your inner self step into the light.
I love it. Reclaim your narrative, folks. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay true to your story.
Peace.